And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Grade A Fantasy. I'm your host, Grade A Fantasy, which is the name of the show anyway. Let's get right into the Week 11 preview for my top plays, or what I feel are on the FanDuel Week 11 main slate at the running back position. Before we get into that, something trending that I've noticed, not something that I really pay attention to. I might mention it from time to time, but right now it has now turned into the San Francisco Arizona game. That's the highest with a 49.5 over under. Once the week 10 had concluded, or while the Sunday night game was going on, instantly there was only 150, and that was the Pittsburgh Cincinnati game. Over the course of 2 days, that now has dropped to 48.5. I'm a bit surprised there, but it's still a good total to go against. But now with that dropping to 48.5, San Francisco at Arizona is now the highest scoring, potentially the highest score, expected to be highest scoring game on the slate by a little bit. While there's 3 or 4, I think there's about 3 or 4 games that are at 48.5. We got Buffalo hosting Tampa Bay, Minnesota hosting Chicago's 48.5. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati just dropped to 48.5. They were 49.5 yesterday, and now it dropped a little bit more. And Los Angeles, Seattle. The Los Angeles, Seattle game. I think either way, whether if it's in Los Angeles or Seattle, I'm surprised it's that high. I thought that probably could have been like a 44, 45. Those are two good defenses going against two elite offenses. But I really thought that could have been like maybe a 44, 45 game. No disrespect, but I thought, maybe Vegas would have shown a little bit more respect to the two defenses in that game. But we'll see how it trends. Sometimes that's not something that really influences, because sometimes you don't need to, the higher the total, you don't really need to stack a game to be fantasy viable. You just need the right pieces. But I was just surprised. Because I'm somebody that's personally high on the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game. Even though it's two bad defenses, the Pittsburgh offense has been looking good. But Cincinnati's still bad. I mean, historically bad, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get right into the running back situation. Christian McCaffrey, I think he's definitely worth the 10,000 against that Arizona defense. It looks like he's going to get Brock Purdy back this week. He's been closer and closer the last couple of weeks. So, against Arizona, which is not the most legit defense, even though they did a decent job earlier this year. But, like I said, if they get Purdy and are ready to go Purdy, then, yeah, I definitely love Christian McCaffrey at 10. If you're worried about Bijan, I guess it's a risk, but you are saving $700 off McCaffrey. It is a rematch at home, I think. Bijan in Atlanta, and that team is going to be ready to give Carolina its second loss. Carolina definitely, overachieving this year, and I think Atlanta owes them some revenge after being rocked 30-0 early in the season. That was definitely probably the most shocking upset and probably one of the most shocking fantasy results of the season. But when it comes to the pay-ups, yes, I love McCaffrey, but when it comes to the main pay-ups, Cook, Kyron, Cook has a good opportunity against Buffalo. I think Buffalo needs to just shake off, because whenever Buffalo gets one of these bad, horrible losses, you know what they do? They give it to James Cook, and they give it to James Cook either a lot or more than what they normally do, and then Josh Allen compliments him. If you notice that, that's what I think I've seen most of the year. So I definitely like James Cook, but my favorite pay up out of all these guys, without a doubt, is Josh Jacobs. He has the best matchup, 9,100. You save 900 off McCaffrey and an extra 200 off CMC. Josh Jacobs, a healthy Josh Jacobs with no injury tag or anything, definitely looks the best when it comes to the pay-up options. As we go down a little bit, not too expensive, but when it gets to this like 8,000, getting to the 7,000 range, Rico Dowdle carries my main interest. Like I said, I hold a lot of respect for that Cleveland and Baltimore game, and if as I'm checking it out now, Cleveland Baltimore is, yeah, exactly, that's an ugly 39.5. So expect both running backs to have a key in that, but not a lot of scoring in that one. Those are definitely two defenses. Baltimore getting healthier, made a few trades and they're getting healthy on a hot streak. And like I said, if you're not on it now, then hey, it's a little too late. Cleveland's defense is legit. So Rico's the only thing I like here in the bounce back. Bucky's already not looking like he's gonna play next week. So looking at Kamani Vidal and Rashad White. Rashad White definitely, I think he hasn't had the best of times subbing for Bucky, but against Buffalo, because the way they set up with their two deep and everything, I like Rashad White plus what he can do out the backfield. I think Rashad White is definitely in for a bounce back. Kamani Vidal definitely looking good against Jacksonville. Like I said, I think Jacksonville's highly overrated. Maybe 7th ranked in fantasy, but I really don't like that defense like that. Like I said, I love these two guys right here. Chase Brown, even though, yes, the Pittsburgh run defense is, somewhat good. It's definitely above average. It's a solid run defense. But Chase Brown does give you more, also can give you some stuff on the ground. I think Chase Brown is viable. Jalen Warren, he's definitely my favorite mid option against the worst rush defense. I'm definitely going to have a lot of him this week. DeAndre Swift, as long as he's healthy, he's going to take over. He basically took back the backfield from a young guy last week. If we keep going, literally after that, when we start getting to what's considered paydowns, Woody Marks, 6,300 against Tennessee. It is, like I said, it's one of those young teams that how the Saints, not the best defense, but they have their options. Tennessee, from the Denver game, yes, they get dominated, but that front four, and it's somewhat of a compatible front seven or whatever. And like I said, Houston is not the best offensive line, but I think Woody Marks has taken firm hold of that backfield. No more, mixed signals. I think after what he's done, what he's shown in the burst of speed, and then, having the week that he had, I think Woody's definitely in line to get more touches. Like I said, getting decent touches and splitting. But now, even with Chubb there, I think he's totally taken over that backfield. Both the KC guys, I mean, Hunt is viable. It is a tough Denver defense in general, but like I said, if there's one way you can get them, it is on the ground. They are somewhat vulnerable on the ground, but overall, that Denver defense is great. Like I said, you only got to like Hunt, especially if Pacheco is not going to be out there, because there's just more opportunities for Hunt. Last week, Hunt got 11, and then he still got a couple of targets. But, it is a very motion-heavy, gadget and gadget kind of offense that, they kind of use the short pass for the run. They have Mahomes that can scramble. So, you're not going to get Kareem Hunt getting 20 carries, even if, it's just not how they are. Plus, they use their other backup running backs. But for salary relief and, hey, probably going to be low owned and, still can get to the goal line. Mahomes and company can move the ball. See, the thing with Kareem Hunt is you're looking at a 6,000 guy that you're hoping could get 40 to 60 yards and maybe a couple of goal line looks. You're not rostering Kareem Hunt. One, that's not how the Kansas City offense flows now with, healthy Mahomes and a full-fledged arsenal of receivers with Travis Kelce. Now they started to look like the old, Chiefs in a way, with a complement of run and gadget plays. So you're looking for, when you look at Kareem Hunt, and yes, I'll still have some Kareem Hunt, what you're looking for is something like the Washington game a couple of weeks ago. 9 of 40. He gets the goal. He got the goal line look. And then, he wasn't really supposed to get the goal line. He wasn't supposed to get the goal line look from that other week. But, they got to the one and they ran a fake and got some motion and hit Kareem Hunt in the flat. Or, what's more Kareem Hunt speed? He could have something like a Jacksonville game. If they can move the ball, occasionally get the ball to Hunt, and, Mahomes scrambles. Mahomes keeps extending the play, gets it downfield, 10 yards, 12 yards, 8 yards. In the mix of that, Kareem Hunt runs for 3, runs for 4, sets up 3rd and short. They get to the goal line or inside the 5. Kareem Hunt's going to get the ball, and these are what these numbers show, 7 for 49. So I think he's definitely a reasonable risk for being such a cheap option. I definitely will probably have a bit more of him if he was like 58, 57, but he's not. Even 6,000, looking for some high, basically what he is He's not the lock like Monungai was or like what Mason was, I think, week 2. He is high upside salary relief. Doesn't do it, he hurts your lineup, but doesn't kill it. And as we keep going here, watch out for Tyler Algier. Probably the #1 vulture in fantasy right now at 57 against Carolina. To get some more goal line looks. Yeah, I've totally faded Tony Paulo. Yeah, he's somebody that I have not rostered. There's nobody down here at all. Nope. So once again, limited upside. You can literally stop. For me, I mean, yeah, is there an option to RJ Harvey? Yeah, but yeah, you can literally stop at 6,000 Kareem Hunt, and I don't think there's nothing else viable there for you to pick. But that is the end of the episode. Thank you for tuning in. Wide receiver episode out tomorrow. Good luck in your research and building lineups for week 11. Thanksgiving is almost here. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy, signing off.